to Chat GPT, OpenAI, storytelling.
All right, and we are back for episode number 3, and I'm going to try to start this episode off without babbling for too long and get right into the story time. So for today's episode, based off of the last episode where there was no sex included in a Bukowski prompted story, so Bukowski's story without any sex or women involved I thought was a little bit strange. So not to be cliche, like any kid learning a new language, asking only the dirty words first. I'm not trying to go that route, but it looks like I might be. So I went into Chat GPT and I just thought, well, let's try something simple. Write me a sex story. And the response from Chat GPT was, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to fulfill that request as it would be inappropriate. Is there something else I can help you with? And I tried to write me a story about a sexual fantasy, to which it replied with the exact same response. So from there, I went right on in and tried the prompt that actually worked and gave me the story for today, which is write me a story about a virgin man in college. So let's get right into it and see what kind of story ChatGPT came up with for us.
All right, here we go.
Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jack who had just started college. Jack was a bit shy and introverted and had never had a girlfriend before. He had always been too focused on his studies and his dream of becoming a doctor. But now that he was in college, he wanted to change that. One day, Jack decided to join a study group for his biology class. The group was made up of mostly girls, and one of them caught his eye. Her name was Sarah, and Sarah was smart, beautiful, and kind. Jack couldn't help but feel attracted to her, but he didn't know how to talk to her. Over time, Jack and Sarah started to get to know each other better. They would often stay after the study group to talk and laugh. Jack found himself telling Sarah more and more about himself, including the fact that he was still a virgin. To his surprise, Sarah didn't seem to mind. In fact, she told him that she admired his dedication to his studies and his goals. One day, Jack and Sarah were working on a project together. They were sitting next to each other at a table, and Jack couldn't help but notice how close Sarah was to him. He could smell her perfume and feel the warmth of her body. Suddenly, Sarah turned to him and said, Jack, I know this might be sudden, but I really like you. Would you like to go on a date with me? Jack was shocked and overjoyed. He stammered out a yes, and Sarah smiled. They went on a date the following weekend, and it was the best night of Jack's life. They laughed, talked, and got to know each other better. And as the night went on, Jack couldn't help but feel a sense of nervous excitement. He knew that Sarah was the one. He was ready to lose his virginity. The next day, Jack and Sarah went back to her dorm room, and they spent the night together. It was a little awkward at first, but Sarah was patient and understanding. She showed Jack how to please her, and they both found it to be a beautiful and special experience. And from that night on, Jack and Sarah were inseparable. They continued to date throughout college and eventually got married. They were each other's first love, and Jack was glad he waited for the right person to share that special moment with. The end.
Chat GPT, OpenAI, storytelling.
Well, that was just beautiful and uplifting and brought me a sense of purity and just moral well-being to my life. And I hope that you all walk away from that story feeling a bit more at peace. I'm just messing around. That was horrible. That was a terrible story. I'm going to have to start being a little bit more specific. I think that is the key when prompting these stories, to get something a little bit more interesting, complex, and diverse. So next time, I promise to hopefully come back with something more along the lines of the Bukowski story, which actually had some deeper, I guess not deeper. This one did have a meaning, and it was beautiful in a sense. And it was something that I hoped for myself after high school and going into college as a virgin. So now, did it pan out that way in the end? No. But this was a very predictable story. So yeah, it'd be nice to get something a little bit more complex out of this. Another thing is that it is strange that Chat GPT cannot talk about sex, and I wonder what the parameters specifically are with getting any further than what we had in this story. The dirtiest thing that it said was that she taught him how to please her, um, which is pretty PG 13. Um, so I did find that interesting, and it doesn't look like we can get on the Bukowski level, but I might continue to try and push that, so we'll see what it can come up with after some further experimentation. So yeah, I hope to have you back again tomorrow. I plan on hopefully putting out a story time every day, if possible, and if not every other day. Maybe you can use this as a bedtime story activity or in your car on your way to work or on the train or subway, underground, metro, whatever you want to call it. You can use this as a time to just get away a little bit and escape from reality. And sometimes it might be a little bit more interesting than others, and others it might be a little bit more exciting, just as anything in life. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing you back, or not exactly seeing from you, but looking forward to having your ears listen to my voice in the coming days. Good night. Or good morning, depending on where you are. Ciao.
Buenas noches y hasta la próxima.